Hello, John here. Okay, so today we're going to do a lesson on pronunciation. And I thought as a kind of an interesting tool, I'd get this poem. And this poem was written a long, long time ago by this guy named Dr. Gerard Nolst Timité. I think it's French. Sorry, my French is not great. But a long time ago, and then it was sort of, more recently published in the 80s. And anyway, it's kind of like, it's a long poem. I've just taken the first stanza, kind of like paragraph in a poem. And this is just a great tool. It's the words are kind of challenging even for native speakers. So if you can read this whole poem, then that's fantastic. So also, there's a few things that I want to bring your attention to about this poem. There are three things. One is syllables. So the syllables in the word, and I'll explain that later. Rhyming words that have a sort of a similar sort of sound towards the end of the word, and the rhythm of a sentence where sort of there rises and falls and begins and finishes at the same spot. The other thing I wanted to say is also in English, the sounds are sometimes very inconsistent. So you might see an E and an A together, but in a different word, the sound is completely different. So like Spanish, for example, the sounds, the vowel sounds and everything, it's very, very consistent. The consonant sounds too, it's very, very consistent. Unfortunately, in English, it's not. The other thing is, in English, we have this sort of rising and falling, and that helps with our dynamic to sounds, more interesting if you kind of talk like this and you just don't really change anything. Then it sounds really boring, and then people they fall asleep, and you don't want anyone to fall asleep. And I got in trouble when I was in Vietnam years ago, and I was teaching English there. Well, that language is completely different. So I've had this tendency to rise and fall with my words and everything. But there, when I did that, I changed the meaning completely. So that was, anyway, I probably angered some people because I just said the wrong word. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to read the poem. And I want you to listen for the rhythm. And then we'll talk about syllables and rhyming words and words where there's kind of maybe the same sort of letters together, but different sound. Okay, so here we go. Dearest creature in creation, study English pronunciation. I will teach you in my verse sounds like corpse, core, horse, and worse. I will keep you, Susie, busy, make your head with heat grow dizzy. Tear in eye, your dress will tear. So shall I. Oh, hear my prayer. Okay, so that was the poem. You can practice it later. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to find out words that rhyme. Okay, so I'm going to say a word and you tell me which word rhymes with that one. Worse. What rhymes with worse? That's right, verse. Worse, verse, verse, worse. Those words rhyme. Okay, how about prayer? That's right, tear. That's this one. Not tear, right? Same spelling, different word. The next one, busy. That's right, dizzy. Okay, so those are the words that rhyme. Okay, well now we're going to do syllables. Okay, I don't know if anyone remembers syllables, but basically, syllables are beats in, the beats in a word. So, dearest, dearest, that has 2 syllables. Okay, so we're just going to go through it. Creature, 2 syllables. Creation, 3 syllables. Pronunciation, 5 syllables. Okay, verse, corpse, horse. Let's see, another one. Are there any other words with more than 1 syllable? Yeah, Susie, busy. Okay. I think that's pretty much it for the syllables. I don't know, maybe you can find another one. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to see about, we're just going to go through a bit of vocabulary. There's some words that you might not know. So things like a corpse. Corpse is like a dead body. Corps is like a subdivision in an army. Susie is a name of a person. That's the giveaway right there. If you see that capital S, you know that it's, yeah. And dizzy. Dizzy is, for example, if you spin around, like, and then afterwards you kind of feel, maybe you've been like drunk or something, that's like you feel dizzy. Dizzy. A prayer. A prayer. It's, like when you go to church and you could pray. That's a prayer. No, that's to pray, sorry. A prayer is when you, I guess it's the thing you say to whatever you believe in. And I think that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this lesson. If you want to see some other fascinating, fantastic, and incredible videos, go to www.ingbid.com.